So once you have completed this single line segment data entry with the help of coordinate method, let's try to complete this room rectangle by adding another remaining three segments. And this time we'll try to improve our data entry step by step. Say for example, now if I want to start, make sure again in your default setting the line tool is already available. That is, your info box shows that line tool is loaded with the default setting as a wording. So that means you are in the draw mode. So again, the single line segment is the geometry method. At the bottom of your screen, it is written enter first node of the line. What I'm going to do is, this time I'm going to use the check mark to pick this right end corner of right end point of my line. So in this existing segment, so I'm just going to use the check mark. Be careful, keep your mouse exactly on the end of the segment, take the check mark in front of you and then click the point. So you'll see your line segment is already started. Can you see now there's a pencil icon which is shows with a white color inside it. So it's known as a hollow pencil. If I touch this pencil to other end of the line, you will see it becomes a black. So that's supposed to be in a genuine location. So it's a field pencil. So hollow pencil and field pencil. So in ArchiCAD, always you have to remember that these icons carries a very important, what you can say, uh, their representation carries a something indication. Say for example, if I keep my mouse somewhere on the line segment, you can see that same line pencil icon carries a line inside that pencil. Okay, so instead of hollow pencil, now it comes as a semi-filled pencil. Okay, so inside that one segment. So this is nearer, not exactly on the end point or midpoint. It is nearer. If it is a filled one, it is exactly end point or midpoint. So some genuine location. So this is how this is something known as an intelligent cursor. That is, the cursor can identify your location, and according to that, it will suggest you or give you some clue related to your precise drafting. So now, what I'm supposed to do is, I'm just going to complete this vector by adding its remaining coordinates. Now be careful, again the coordinate which I'm going to, my vertical segment should be of 5 meters. So my x value will be 4500 and y value will be 5000. Okay, and when I enter, fine, so pressing X 4500, then pressing Y and 5000, no enter key in between. Now I'm going to hit the enter key and you will see my exactly I have added a vertical segment. Right? So this is how you can use the coordinate system, but it is very time consuming. So I won't suggest you, or nobody will prefer to work with this absolute coordinate data entry method. Okay. So instead of that, let's try to improve this further. Say for example, I'm just going to leave this as it is on one side and I'm going to continue with a new segment, which probably I'm going to start from the random location. But this time I'm going to add something to this that is nothing but how to activate this relative data entry method. Okay. So to work for this relative data entry method, what I'm going to do is, this time you can check out this delta sign, which I have switch off this button. So I was working with absolute. Instead of that, before this XY, there's a delta button. So I'm going to press that. So this becomes active now. And also, so you can see the delta symbol is activated. So you are working with a relative. Same way before R and A, where R stands for the radius and A stands for the angle. So this also I'm going to click and activate this. So in future, you are always going to you keep this two buttons on. That means you are working with the relative method. What relative stands for? That is nothing but In absolute, everything will be measured with respect to 0, 0. From there, the positive x, positive y, negative y, and all those standard terms of the coordinate plane will be considered. In case of relative, what I'm getting the freedom is I'm going to pick one point anywhere as per my convenience. Again, remember, what I'm explaining is common for almost all CAD software. So it's not something only ArchiCAD is having this particular speciality or availability. It's a global, what you can say, concept. So any CAD software use this particular logic of absolute and relative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one point, because again my single segment is still activated in geometry method and my prompting is still the same, that is enter the first node of line. So I'm just going to pick one point and you will see that that becomes my 0, 0. It's a temporary 0, 0. So if I touch with that, with the say pencil icon, you will see my coordinate says x and y as a 0, 0. So that becomes my temporary 0, 0. It's a relative. With respect to this point, you are going to now give this data entry with in terms of distance and direction. That means you are going to activate the polar method, which you must have used in AutoCAD earlier. And again, it's a very common platform. But if you are a first time user for any kind of a CAD software, remember that polar data is nothing but from the pick point, you are going to define the distance and direction to complete that vector. Okay, because vector is nothing but combination of distance and direction. So in any particular this polar data entry format, the distance is always whatever you want to travel, and direction is represented with in terms of angle. Fine. So for that reason, I will explain again in the next clip if it is essential. So just try to make sure what you have to do. I'm going to press this time R because it's a relative distance. Maybe you can call radius, but it's a relative distance, 4,500. And the direction which I am going to travel is towards the east side. That is from the pick point, the right side or east side, or is equivalent to 0 degree. So I'm going to press A now from the keyboard and I'm going to press 0. So this becomes my first data entry done by relative method. And now when I press enter key, you can see that exactly I've drawn one segment of 4,500. If you want to check that, press M from the keyboard. Now you know it very well. And then just use the check mark from one end point, pick that point and touch to the other point, and you will get the confirmation that you have drawn exactly 4500 as a length of that segment. So now I have used single escape to terminate the measure tool. And now I'm going to click one more point, that is the end point of this segment with the check mark. And now this time I'm going to travel upward. You can see your A at the bottom shows nearer to 90 degree. That means a vertical line. So you can use this pan tool, that is hold a mouse middle button and just drag your screen down so that whatever is, it's just a zooming techniques you have to follow, which are very common in any CAD software, like wheel button, zoom in out, or pan, press the wheel button and you'll get the pan. So very much standardized thing. So here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag my mouse vertically just to get an idea in which degree or direction I'm traveling. Actually from the pick point I'm traveling upward, that is maybe I'm called that as a north side or a 12 o'clock. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do. So in terms of polar, it is 90 degree. So what I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to press again R from the keyboard, 5000 as my distance, and then press A from the keyboard, 90, and then hit enter. Okay, so same way now, again I'll pick one more point, that is from that previous endpoint itself. Now this time, I'll just show you one more possibility. Now you can see your mouse is very much free so that you can drag your mouse in any direction and the vector is getting shown in front of you and you can see the hollow pencil icon. So this time if I hold the shift key, so if I drag on the left hand and if I just hold the shift key, you can see my mouse gets locked for a particular angle. So at the bottom of your screen at the A you can note down, see here is the A value. You can check out, it is 180 degrees shown. So this is known as a constraining. Okay, you are trying to constrain the mouse in a particular direction, either in the 0 angle or a 180. So I'm right now dragging towards the 180. Okay, so now from here, now make sure I'm holding the shift key down. I have not released the shift key, so my shift key is still down, pressed. And now I'm just going to keep my mouse dragging down. You can see a perpendicular line is getting dropped, dotted line as a, and if I touch to this particular corner of my earlier or the end point of that line, you can see now exactly R at the bottom of your screen written as a 4500 and A as a 180 degree. So this time I'm not going to do any data entry from my keyboard. It is just holding the shift constraint, dragging the mouse and getting the precise location where it's nothing but on the existing endpoint of the line. So moment I pick that, you can see my new segment was added. And then last segment is a very simple task. Just have to click one point, okay, with a check mark and come and try to get the filled pencil. That is nothing but another genuine location. Read the bottom of your screen with the R and A. It is written 5270. So this is nothing but we have started working. So I have picked that point. So this is nothing but we have started working with the relative method also. So please try this option. Try for one more possibility. You draw one more rectangle as per your required dimensions, so that in the next step we will see how to improve this drafting by adding some additional helpers, so that instead of pressing R, A, and it's really time consuming, how we can trim down the time and do more fast and easier drafting.